live?
I think we are.
Hello, everybody. Had to play a little Margaritaville because I heard it on the radio as we were getting ready. Yeah, it says we're live.
It's so Key West.
And my partner in crime had been in Key West for almost 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was almost a month.
And then we had the quarantine week last week where basically until he got his test results back, we wanted to make sure that we were responsible and we did not meet up for two queers in the truck. Yeah. So we did it from our homes. But now that we're back, this is Two Queers in a Truck, and it's live and in the actual truck.
Yes,
so
yes.
We are legit this week.
Too legit to quit.
I mean, I guess it's early July.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
wow,
I remember
it's August. Yeah, it's been a while.
We're almost at mid-August, where this is the 12th of August, and
that is amazing that so much has happened since.
A lot's happened, and we now have a Joe Biden's got a running mate.
Kamala. We learned how to pronounce it today on our first show. Coffee and
Dr. B helped us to use phonics and enunciate her name correctly.
That's right.
We got the convention coming back to Charlotte, North Carolina. We got lots happened since you've been. I mean, not that we haven't done shows the whole time, that especially the coffee show. We've done a ton of episodes since you've been in Key West, and then since you've been back, we did last week's show, and but we did actually both shows in person.
We did, yeah.
We broadcast on the same camera. In your studio with the first show, Coffee and Pandelse, and then now we're doing Two Queers in the truck, in an actual truck.
In a truck. So where are we going today, Jenny?
I think we picked South End.
South End.
Where we're going to head towards.
So we are going to drive to South End, which that's where we'll go. Yeah. And then of course we've got to stop at Mickey D's so we can get some fries. Yeah. And, you know the drill.
We got to get some artery stopping stuff. Yeah, I actually did not eat Mickey D's yesterday. So while you've been out of town on Tuesdays, I've been instead of eating tacos on Tuesday, I've been eating Mickey D's.
Oh, okay.
As a preemptive strike to my arteries before we did Two Queers on Wednesday. Normally on Wednesday we eat Mickey D's at the end of the deal. We drive through a drive-through. Yep. Super healthy, and I get my basket of fries. It's one of the few things. I mean, I could get a salad. I could be super well-behaved vegan. I figure since I'm hanging out with you anyway, I might as well indulge in all bad behaviors. And but
you make it sound like I'm a bad influence on you. Come on,
you are. It's all good.
Yeah,
I keep coming back for it, so obviously
that's right.
Your bad must be good.
That's right.
But
I'm gonna have to switch masks because I wore this so much in Key West that this part's kind of loosening.
Is it slipping down? Okay.
So don't breathe.
Look away.
Don't breathe. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a switcheroo here.
The switchy-do?
Ta-da! Okay, there we go. Yeah, that one's the elastic is a lot better on that one. The other one I kept having to pull up. Okay, excellent. So,
I need to wear my Medicare for All mask next week. I've got it in my car. I just keep forgetting to wear it. Like I've worn it out once. Yeah. Which I got it from Dr. Sachs and Tier Long, and so it was one of those things. I got it while you were in Key West, and I posed for a picture of it and posted it on my Instagram and Facebook, and but I haven't worn it out much.
Why
only
is that?
Because basically because I'm not really going out. I mean, I go to the grocery store maybe once a week. I'm not really going to any events, obviously. Yeah. But I guess we should get on the road.
Yes, let's get on. Okay, so we're going to head out to South End.
We're going to do most of the show from...
Once again, I can't remember if we started... Yeah, you did start it properly this time. So this is Two Queers in a Truck. I'm Christian Cano and...
Jenny-Jaymes Gunn, of course.
And it's great to have you. We're going to be throwing shade. We haven't really been throwing a lot of shade, but today I really want to... We
threw a lot of shade in the first show,
we
too.
did, that was a little...
I got a couple slaps in on you, and you got a couple slaps back. Yeah. And then... But he finished it out right by give some gifts that I took care of his home and his pets while they were out of town in Key West, and of course in turn I used his barbecuing grill to grill some vegan sausages.
How did that work?
It worked fabulous, actually, and I really mastered cooking I'll have to cook the vegan sausages next time when we do a cookout here.
Okay.
because I mastered the technique on how to cook those properly.
So they don't come out mushy or too dry
or like dried out.
Yeah, because we had that issue.
These are actually been immaculate. In fact, I still got 4 of them left in my refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
And because I cooked a batch, I cooked more than one batch while you were out of town.
Okay. Yeah.
Originally, I was going to only cook one because I thought you were going to only be gone 2 weeks, and then I ate all those, and I was like, oh, more. So I ended up cooking 2 more batches while you were out of town because I got addicted to them.
Okay, well, we're heading off. I'm the driver, and I'm not going to wear my glasses because it fogs up when I have the mask on. And,
awesome.
I want you to see my beautiful brown eyes.
Oh.
So, here we go. Oh, let me get us off 4-wheel drive. To have that.
We're going to go 4-wheeling.
Yeah, that's right. We're going
off-road edition.
Did you see us? Yeehaw!
And
Come
most
on,
likely we'd end up getting stuck, and then we'd have to have somebody bailing us out, which would be hilarious. And Andrew would probably not be so happy.
Yeah, I know.
We would be in trouble.
Yeah.
We would be in trouble.
So, we talked about a lot of things. Well, not a lot of things on the Coffee and Pondusa, but one of the things I was thinking about this, I wouldn't want to talk about is our city council person that we have in district, Lady Tariq. I was thinking about it, and because when you watch the city council meetings, and he's always like he's either like in a DJ booth or
his home studio.
Yeah, he's like in a studio, and then
he's got a nice one though.
Yeah, and then the last one, he was like. The room was dark, and he was very mysterious, like in the background, sitting in a chair, like he was like, some
like
little,
Dr. Evil.
Yeah, like some creeper or something. And I thought to myself, he really is representing the wrong district. He is a city council person that probably should be representing maybe South End or Plaza Midwood or something like that.
You mean like a predominantly gay area because he's so dramatic. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Let's get to it.
He's very theatrical. He is very. We normally in that district we have a very bland white guy, or a very he is almost like Ed Driggs kind of person.
He definitely has the flair for dramatic, just like a drag queen. Like
yes.
I think he would look pretty in drag anyway.
Yeah,
but
I think
that's what it's lost with lady. Oh yeah, no, you put a little makeup on him. He's got nice cheekbones. He's actually a pretty man. I do mean that. He is a good-looking man. You can say that and still not like him.
Yeah.
But I have noticed in his public appearances, and even when I've seen him in person, he's always been dramatic.
Yes.
Very,
it's just over the top.
A lot of emotion.
Which is not normal for that district. Usually that district, because that district is, it's like the whitest district in Charlotte. Yeah. And it is the more elderly people, more like Dr. B's, more like, almost like, Barbara's, like all the old Charlotte money, the Quail Hollow area, all that kind of, it's not, they don't want someone over the top. They want someone who's just kind of almost like Ed Driggs. He's very
unlike his district.
Exactly.
Other than the fact, the only reason why you see that he does so well in that district is because he is about business and commerce and things like that. And I think,
well, apparently now we know it's about his business and commerce, not really about business and commerce. So it's like
he left that a little vague and foggy.
Exactly. He said, "What happened was I was really
I was reaching for my wallet. I was going to pay for that, but since you wasn't going to do it,
that's right."
But I think. Yeah, he's got a lot of explaining to do still. But I do think that Lady T is very. I don't know if it's because he's young.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because that's just who he is. But he's very unusual for. And now that you think about it, and that district is very.
Well, I think the reason
is very chill.
Well,
I live in that district.
Yeah. Well, the reason I said that, Jenny, was because I do think that the people, as his theatrics and that comes out and out, they don't want someone like that to represent their district. I do think he's going to have a challenger next year, someone who's a little bit more calm.
Gina darn near beat him.
Well, but the Republicans, I think, are going to, because in Charlotte, the person who runs for mayor, Republican, usually comes out of that district. Kenny Smith, Edwin Peacock, are someone. It's usually a very moderate, kind of calm, white person, and he's not any of that. He's almost too over the top for them. And I do think that as people see him on television and they see him trying to be like the Republican shock jock.
But do you think a strong, articulate woman like Dr. Gina that did very well?
Yes,
did very well with minimal fundraising, with a grassroots campaign, and she came within a few votes of beating it.
I think that
and he's not done that bad of a job. So I mean, like I have to say now after the election, it's not like he's done a really, really bad job.
He hasn't had to do anything.
But
all he does is talk.
But he's not done anything up until the scandal. I think the scandal definitely will put him. If it comes out to be that he is judged as being unethical, which we don't know yet, they haven't had any tribunals or anything like that, so he's still innocent of the charges. Not that there is charges, but he's still innocent of the ethics breach until they prove that he did that. But the city attorney. But I don't know how they'll handle that. Or if they're going to handle it.
But I do think that if he does move to Plaza Midwood, or if he does move to maybe NODA, or maybe represent a district like that he probably would do well, because he's trying to be
young and hip.
Young and hip, and he has every right to be young and hip, but he's almost it's just such a mismatch for that district.
He seems out of place. He seems like a fish out of water. I mean, he's a person of color.
Yes,
he's
I was expecting, this is going to sound terrible, but if you've seen him lately with his podcast studio, and he's been growing his beard and kind of trying to look really hip and looking very mysterious. I was expecting like some gold change on next, and for him to be
I don't think that's his style. I think he's more of the visor wearing typical Republican. I don't think his dress or I don't think it's his style. His style is very conservative. It's very modern, but it's very conservative. It's his personality that is so.
It's just a mismatch.
It's not anti-Republican because there's a lot of drama queens as we've seen with
a lot of ladies.
Lindsey Graham, Donald Trump. I mean, they're all got a flair for the dramatic. I mean, we saw, Kavanaugh, the way he behaved as a conservative judge, like. He went from laughing to crying. He basically seemed like a 6-month-old baby out there. I mean, he was so thin-skinned and so dramatic. So we know conservatives, especially Southern conservatives, have got a flair for the dramatic. Very sometimes almost, I hate to say effeminate, but just
but it is.
Wrist flipping,
but it is, Jenny, and that's why we've been using the term lady, because and I know, because if I say they're acting like effeminate, that might not be a positive thing. Yes, misogynistic. But quite honestly, from a guy looking at someone like that, it's
what's
like
the attributes that we attach to women?
Yes,
which ironically is so weird, because you look at the female heads of state all around the world,
and they're not like that.
The Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she's so matter of fact, and she just sat down at the Benning Grove and said, "This is what we're going to do." And she worked with, basically their Congress, and they hammered out a plan. Nobody argued, and they've had no new COVID cases for 102 days. 102 days. With a population of 5 million people, which people can say it's a remote island, but it's a small island. There's 5 million people that live in New Zealand, which is 4 times bigger than Charlotte, and we've had dramatically more cases than that. And the fact is, New Zealand's about the size, population's about the size of Houston, and the island's probably not much bigger than Houston, and they have 0 cases, and you look at Houston that's running at capacity and beyond their capacity. They have a huge hospital district. Their hospital district in downtown Houston looks like
it's a whole city.
A small city in itself. It's one of the biggest in the world, if not the biggest in the world.
I think that's where Dr. B came from.
I think so.
I'm not sure.
I know. I think it was in school in Texas.
Yeah,
I know that because I've looked at his bio.
Well, so anyway, I mean, back to Lady Tariq. I mean, I did think it's fun, and I was thinking about this the other day, that how out of place he is for his district, and that I do think that what we have noticed, those theatrics and the drama queen and all that kind of attention seeking, leaving the dais going, there's a march in my thing and it's just
that was probably one of the most dramatic things I've seen. And then you flip over and you look at some of the video casts from the march that was going past the South Park Mall. And
he said it's the end of days. It's the end of days.
On bicycles and on foot. The cops were on bicycles. They weren't in full SWAT gear, mysteriously.
Yeah,
because it was almost all exclusively white people. They're walking single file on nobody's lawn, walking down the sidewalk on Fairview, and it was one of the calmest, most the demonstrations that I went to.
So have I.
They were very calm. We both. I mean, the only ones I went with you. Yeah. And they were super chill, like the one that the NAACP did with and I'm blanking on the name of the younger group, the co-sponsored.
It was like the something kids or I can't remember.
Fed Up or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
It was very well run. The young adults that were doing all the legwork on it, like handing out bottles of water and masks and everything, very well organized, very respectful. The speakers they had, which were mostly young black and indigenous people of color, were amazing. Very inspiring. Gave me chills at times. And the march and the demonstration was beautiful. And then we went to the other one where we marched to where the Black Lives Matter mural is on the street, and then we knelt for the 8 minutes,
and that was with the mayor and a bunch of other people.
Mark Gurl, and I think Mark Gurl was one of the organizers of it. I believe. I want to give credit where credit's
Sheriff
due.
was there. The fire chief was there. The DA was there.
The police chief was there as well.
There
was the city and county representatives were phenomenal. They had some just unbelievable stories. They were inspirational, and that's what I'm excited and segueing that to Joe Biden's nomination, Kamala yesterday, and a lot of people have criticized her as being a cop and being as the prosecutor and Attorney General of California.
So let's talk about that, Jenny. I mean, Joe Biden. A lot of gnashing of teeth. So Joe Biden announced his VP pick. No one's ever going to be 100% happy because everyone wants their person. People wanted someone more progressive.
Well, some people wanted Elizabeth Warren. Some people wanted Stacey Abrams.
I think it was a good choice.
Rice's name was thrown out.
I think it was a good choice. She's been vetted. We know who she is. Even those who maybe did not support her when she was running for president because she was too tough as a cop.
Here's what I think it came down to. One, she finished in the top 10 of candidates, and she bowed out in December of 2019. But she made a hard run for a very underfunded campaign, but it was a great first run for her. Second, she's younger, and we have to speak to the fact that Joe Biden is 77 years old. And is probably buying calendars 1 month at a time. And the truth is it's not that he isn't fit for office, but 4 years is a long time when you're 77.
Yes.
And that's a very stressful job. We can point to Obama, how much he aged in 8 years. Like how much he physically changed. He aged gracefully. He's a good-looking man. But he aged. And you want to have a vice president that presumably, whether he has to step down because of health or he passes away, he basically is picking who could possibly be the next president of the United States.
And so he needed someone who was able to do that.
Had the gravitas to do that. I mean, And there's a lot of the other names that were thrown out that are women, except, and I'll take Elizabeth Warren off that list. Yeah. Most of them don't have a presidential presence or a national deal.
Yeah.
And when voters are going to vote, whether they're progressive or moderate, they're going to vote for a Democrat, because conservatives aren't going to vote for a Democrat.
Would you think that's what hurt Sarah Palin, was that people didn't think of her?
She was like, a kook.
Well, yeah.
She was a kook. I mean, she was easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
You know, her life was a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Her family were kooks
Yeah.
too. They were an embarrassment. She did not have any stature.
She was more like shock value.
And
she was more.
Yeah.
He needed something like to shock people.
The model-like women that they have as broadcasters on Fox News. Like she looks like somebody that would be good on Fox News, but she was not. She didn't come off as presidential, and she represented a state of Alaska, which is we've got a very small population.
Yeah.
It's not
and
on
not
the
a diverse
mainland United
population.
States.
Yeah.
It's a very bizarre state. And whereas Kamala represents California, our most populated state, our the most successful commercially state, it is known around the world. Mm-hmm. I think it in Texas, or in New York, are your big three. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so she represents, and she's a senator from there. Yeah. She was the top cop from there. Mm-hmm. She represents a background of being an attorney, being a
I think it's a great choice.
I think
plus she represents women of color,
and she's willing to stand up.
Yeah,
she's willing to stand up. Yeah. And see, to me, I think the race picked a factor in some ways, but in other ways, she's really good in the debate.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to
that's
last
what I was
year, I'm thrilled to see her square up with Pence.
Yeah.
And because I think she's going to mop the floor with Lady Pence.
Well, I don't think he's dumb enough to try to challenge her. I think he's just going to be polite. It's going to be a very
but I don't think she's going to let it go. So I think I think the thing is, he's going to say something that's going to be just stupid enough,
and it's going to be demeaning, or
she's going to be on it.
Yeah.
She's going to be on it, and I think, a lot of people in my community, the transgender community, don't like her because of how she locked up trans women in men's prisons.
Okay.
And she did fight for that. She fought to lock trans women in jail. Mm-hmm. That was a mistake. She has since, worked on policies that have changed, that began to change that. Mm-hmm. And is she the antichrist to the LGBT community? I don't think so. Yeah. She was, I believe, mayor or city council person in San Francisco.
Yeah.
She did a lot of things for LGBT rights in that city. She's not like a Tulsi Gabbard that ran a concentration camp for gay people. Like she doesn't have blood on her hands. Yeah. She's not perfect. She has a history. Yeah. But if we looked at any of the vice presidential candidates that Biden had, if we went down there, all of them are going to get picked apart.
Yeah.
All of them either didn't have a big enough resume, and I think what it came down to is Kamala had the right fit of personality and accomplishment.
Yeah,
being a senator from a big state like California.
I think that's what we're going to have to do. I don't think we have a lot of selling to do as a Democrat to other people who aren't happy with the decision, because there's a lot of progressives who are very upset. They did not like her at all.
Well, here's your bottom line. What's your other choice?
Well, and that's what we have to.
Biden was a solid vice president.
We have to remind them that at every level of this hiring stage, as hiring managers, we have to weigh what we see, and at this now we're at the level where we have these two people, and we have a Libertarian and Green Party candidate as well. I have to admit it, and so at this moment, I think everyone has to look at the individuals that they think can make an impact on whatever issues are important to them.
So I have to interrupt you. Your brother weighed in. He goes, one calendar at a time. Wow, that is some super shade. I love it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. So I do think that there are people that don't, even who are maybe really, really progressive, but I don't really think that they're 100% Democrat. They're just progressive, and I do think they don't like Biden and and Harris. And what I would say to them, then don't vote for him.
Yeah, but
if that's not who you want to vote, don't vote for him.
But
vote for someone that you want to vote for.
I think time makes us absent-minded because Obama was not the most popular Democrat when he got nominated.
No, he was not. Especially the Hillary people hated him. I mean, they were just like,
well, and the white Southern racists that are still in the Democratic Party, like they use the N-word a lot about him. Like a lot of his detractors did not come from the Republican Party; they came from the Democratic Party.
Exactly.
And so there was a lot of shade thrown towards the church that he went to, Jeremy. One moment they said, well, he's Muslim, and the next moment they were making fun of the Christian pastor that he attended the church, and how that person is scary and is going to influence him, and we're going to have all this. What white people were scared of is that a black man that's president is going to do to them what they've been doing to black people for 400 years.
But don't you think it was very hypocritical that they were questioning the pastor that Obama went to, but yet no one questions the pastor that Pence goes to or the one that Trump doesn't go to?
yeah. Or the fact that Trump doesn't go to church.
Exactly.
Still doesn't go to church.
So it is, I mean, we know it's hypocritical, and I think we're to the point now where we have to say, you know what?
Unless it counts as casino as a church.
That's right.
I think people can pick apart Biden, but Biden was a solid vice president.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a lot like Obama.
Yeah.
I think we're really going to see Obama 2.0.
Yeah,
I mean,
so do I.
I think we're going to see it because Obama still lives in Washington, D.C., so a lot of people, they may not be aware. I think we're going to see a lot of influence. I know Obama's going to come on as an advisor sometime.
You know what I'm really excited about? And I know this is terrible and you're going to call me misogynist or whatever terms you use. I just don't want any more Hillary Clinton influence.
Well, I don't think that's misogynistic.
I just don't want...
I think she just has a she would have been a pretty good president. Though. And
the people that worked in her campaign and followed her, they are so toxic.
So
and
the Bernie fans.
No,
I would. The Bernie Bros are just as scary.
I would not disagree with that.
I mean, the Bernie Bros, I think, have got to own part of their.
There's not really any Bernie Bros anymore. I mean,
there is. Like, you don't read Facebook that much. Though. There's a ton of them. Like, they're still trying to poo-poo Biden.
Oh, no, I see that, and I've seen that,
and Bernie got
I
beat
understand.
Twice.
Yeah,
Bernie got beat twice,
and well, so's Biden.
What?
Biden got beat twice. He ran for president twice and got beat twice.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, I guess my point is, I understand that.
So it's third time the charm for Bernie. Is he going to run in 2024? Is that the question?
We're gonna pull him up on he's going to be on a walker. He's gonna.
And I like Bernie personally. Yeah. My first choice was Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
That's who I voted for in the primary. My second choice was Bernie.
Yeah.
The reason why I picked Elizabeth over Bernie is I think she's just more articulate and smarter. I mean, to be very, very frank.
Yeah.
And I think Bernie's also, he's never left the bubble of Vermont.
Yeah.
So he represents a 97% white state.
Yeah.
With a population of 800,000 people. So basically, he's been the mayor of Charlotte.
Yeah.
Interviewing for the job of the most powerful chief executive on the planet.
But isn't that as crazy as Mayor Pete?
Well, yeah, Mayor Pete didn't have a chance. Like Mayor.
So
Pete,
what do you think? Okay, so let's switch because we don't have to throw shade, but whatever. But what do you think of those people that? And there's still people who really think that Mayor Pete was like he should have been the one, or
nah.
Nah.
Like Mayor Pete, Beto. I mean, I'm gonna lump a bunch of what I call those second tier candidates. Yeah. And Mayor Pete's one of them. He was
Tulsi.
He doesn't. No, Tulsi.
I know we won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Okay, all right. But Mayor Pete, what do you think that is? That was.
I think a lot of people wanted to embrace him because he was gay. He was openly gay. He's married to a man.
He was gay.
I think
white,
young. He had all the check boxes. Former military.
Yeah, exactly.
He had that
power bottom.
I got.
Yeah, he was just.
We don't know that for sure.
No, we don't.
But it was I think some of it is the Democrats Party to take these what I call these middle-aged white men, and empower them, like you see with Beto, with Cal Cunningham. Did you see this? We're trying to
another
anoint
power
this
bottom.
We're trying to anoint this next generation, like we did with Bill Clinton, Joseph Biden, all these baby boomers that we brought up, Bernie, all this generation of white men that have basically run the Democratic Party and been the lead faces of the Democratic Party for the last 2 to 3 decades.
Have you seen the commercial for, to interrupt you, but have you seen the commercial with Cal Cunningham and speaking of power bottoms, and he talks about how him and his wife are raising 2 kids and they're concerned about this. And then it's the first time we've ever seen, or I've ever seen his wife in the commercial. And she's in the front and she's smiling with her big old teeth. It is a scary picture. I almost wanted to say, you know, there are ways that you smile if you're running for Senate. And it was almost like a Lady Tariq smile. It was like so exaggerated. And
dramatic?
Yeah, it was like, it was like this. I'm gonna have to take this off. It was like this. And I was like, "Oh, girl, this is not. What are you doing?"
So I always wonder if these people never taken a speech or debate class.
Well, she had
never videotaped. She's
never taken a small class.
Well, I mean, you do have to be aware of what you look like when you pose for a picture or you're in a video.
Yes,
and because even smiling. Like, you need to practice it. You do when you do public speaking or anything where it's caught on camera, you have to be careful of what you wear, what image, because you got to be very image conscious.
And I'm sure she's a very nice.
She probably is.
I'm sure she is.
And Cal, I've met Cal.
And I don't blame her or Cal. I blame the person who made the commercial for not saying.
The director shouldn't have
exactly.
Like,
I'd be like,
we need to do a retake.
Yeah, let's look a little bit more Senator wife, not
awkward. Yeah, I mean,
not like you just came from your first gay bar and you're excited because you had a couple, shots and you're like, ah, girl, that is beautiful. Yeah, so, it was just.
I think, when we go back to Hillary's campaign and how mismanaged it was, not by Hillary, because the candidates, a lot of people don't know this. I do, just from being involved with campaigns, and you ran for office, that most high-profile candidates are going to have a campaign manager.
Oh yeah, well, and advisors.
To keep them on track.
Yeah, exactly.
And with a presidential, it's probably a staff of 2 or 3 or 400 or 1,000 people that are got immediate contact with that candidate.
And only a fool runs their own campaign.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
And
that's true.
You're right.
The one time I got in trouble was when I did listen to our campaign manager, and I screwed up big time, and I completely admit it.
I can tell you. Yeah. I can tell you that Hillary's, because there was no message, there was nothing on point, and it was very confusing, and so many of these candidates jump out there. Yep. And I give Bernie his due. We know what he ran on. The problem is that he kind of ran on just one thing. Yeah. He kind of just, you didn't like. Yeah. You couldn't see him as doing anything else, and that, and I think that's what kept a lot of Democrats from voting for him. Was like, okay, when his idea struggles, because a president has to be a chief executive. Yeah. And I think when you pigeonhole yourself,
I still think Bernie would have been 100% better than Trump.
Oh yeah, no. Bernie was my number 2. Yeah. So, when I criticize Bernie, it's not because I think he's an idiot. I think Bernie's a very intelligent man. I think he's a very compassionate man. I think he would make a very good president. Yeah. I have no doubt about that. I'm talking about the candidate, and how they run their campaign. And so, I think that the only reason why Biden beat him is because, one, he was a vice president for 8 years, so he got name recognition. That's a huge advantage.
It was the person we know, and we're comfortable.
And we're in a crisis.
Having to go through 3.5 years of the drama of Trump, people just want, God, I just want some...
People want to see the ship pulled in calmly.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm tired of the
you got a Twitter in chief, the Cheeto in chief,
which is kind of what you've been talking about. That the people, and you said this on the last show, the Two Queer show, that Trump, the people who are going to beat Trump are his own Republicans who've turned against him because they're tired of the craziness of him. And I think that's what's going to happen with Lady Tariq in his district. That those individuals are going to get, if they're not already, I think you're starting to see kind of rumbling, is because even Kenny Smith, who ran for mayor against Val Lyles 2 elections ago, but represented that district, and Tariq took that. He was the person who was after Kenny Smith. And Kenny Smith said during that conversation about the shady dealings with Tariq, he said there are many groups that could do this. We don't necessarily need to depend on just his group, his organization. Right. And so I'm paraphrasing what he said, but I think that most Republicans were saying, you know, when Lady Tariq was trying to make the impression that if you don't hire my company, people are going to starve. We're the last chance for black and brown people. We are their saviors. And he was being so dramatic, you know, and I think there were a lot of Republicans rolling their eyes going, girl, please. You know, it was just crazy.
I think you see a lot of that, though, in politics is that what I call I don't know, Tariq's not white, but that white savior mentality. Oh, and we get that from the Democrats too. So what are the issues we have is like, if you don't like that Jack Nicholson movie, The Few Good Men, you need me on that tower. You need me on that wall. And without me, everything will crumble. And of course, we get that from Trump for sure.
Exactly.
Trump acts like he's got this big old huge sword, and he's defending us from the barbarians of the gate.
But he's got such little hands. How can he pick up a sword?
Well, I mean, he's got handlers. Oh, literally. And but he's got the best people. He's got the best people.
They just all in prison. So it's just like
of course I got the best people. I hired the best people. Everybody around me is the best people.
So what do you think?
They're the best people because they're around me and my greatness.
So we talked about this on Coffee show, but you know the only 300 to 500 people. It'll be a little bit more people who come with them.
Yeah.
You think they're going to go out? I mean, where are they going to go out partying here?
They're not.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
something's going to happen. There's going to be some scandal.
I hope so.
There's going to be some scandal. One of them's going to get really drunk.
My question is Lindsey Graham coming?
Oh, Lady Graham, I think she's staying away.
I think, because she just lives in the next state over.
Yeah, but I don't think she's coming because her escorts can't come here.
Well, yeah, they can. She can bring them in.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's buses and rail lines between here and D.C.
What was the sound that she allegedly makes when she's...
oh, we don't want to go there.
Was it a squealing sound or something?
I think, I can't remember. I think banjos and the deliverance reference.
You got a pretty mouth. You got a pretty mouth.
Yeah,
you got a pretty mouth.
I mean, you know, and luckily, her opponent, Harrison, has not really jumped on that to his credit.
Yeah.
But they are neck and neck.
Yeah.
In South Carolina, like 44% to 44%.
I think it would be hilarious.
They are in a tight race.
I think an attack ad against Lindsey Graham or Lady Graham, Lady G, Missy G, whatever they call her now. I think an attack ad of just clips, like a Saturday Night Live kind of clips of him going, "Oh my!"
I don't think Harrison can run that.
No, but someone else could.
But another progressive group could have a lot of fun.
It would be funny because Republicans they only tolerate him because he's a senator.
But the fact that he's gay.
Yeah, he's
gay.
Well, I think he is, but but I think that
there's been enough sex workers that have come forward that have been extremely descriptive of what he likes and what his body looks like.
But don't you think, but Jenny,
like details.
Jenny, we had this conversation before. Don't you think the same thing is in the Southern Baptist Church, at least like in Texas where we come from, where everyone knows that the music director, the choir director is a big old flaming queen. It is usually the one who, is sponsoring people in gay pageants and even regular pageants, Miss Texas pageants.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that in the South.
Yeah, well, I know. That's my point. They're very flaming and they're very, whatever, but they're tolerated because they do something that the church needs. And
so, it's a necessary evil, yeah.
But all it takes is one little slip and then everyone turns on them.
Well, I mean, it's basically the same role I play in my circles.
Mm-hmm.
That I have many circles, including many progressive Democrats, that tolerate me as a openly genderqueer person. Mm-hmm. But it is not lost on me that if I did something scandalous
they would turn
enough,
on you in a second.
That the invitations to events would shut off like a spigot. Now, if you and my close friends wouldn't, they would probably keep me in arm. You wouldn't, but you're scandalous.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, I mean, not to throw you too much shade, but you are the black sheep of the Democratic Party in Charlotte. Let's just say it. My association with you has caused me heat, not if put it down.
Whatever.
But
whatever.
It's just the truth.
I was going to do that. Hold on. Whatever.
Because you have a little bit of history.
Talk to the hand.
You have a little bit of history. but you're outspoken like I am. It's just that the only thing is I'm slightly smarter than you. Because I won't run for office. Because I know I will put myself in a situation where they're like, oh God, she just said that. And it was recorded. She's done. But what a funny flame out is that?
Yeah.
Like if I go by the saying, if you're gonna piss in the pool, do it from the high dive. And but I think speaking of that, are you ever gonna run for office again? Not to put you on the spot.
I have no intention of running for office. However, I will always be there when people need me.
Cool.
So So I think like anyone.
That was a very qualified answer.
But I think all of us, especially those of us who have been involved in the community now.
Yeah.
That when you're involved in the community, I have no intention. I don't need someone like Lady. I'm not like a Lady Tariq or someone else or even a Cal Cunningham or whatever. I don't need that for validation. I have validation from you guys and from just things that we do, but I do know you have to make decisions. There are some times, or maybe in a couple of years or a decade, if someone says, "Hey, Christian, we would really, we need someone to step up."
I really have another question past that. So,
go ahead.
Do you think that you fit more in the activist lane than you do in the politician lane?
I fit more in the advocate lane.
Okay.
So I'm not an activist where I'm willing to be up there and put myself in jail, and I'm not from a politician where I'm not willing to kiss people's behinds to get in office. Even though I don't think you necessarily have to, but so I'm more. I like
to kiss the ring a little bit.
Yeah, I don't mind kissing things, but it's just. But it's just. I really like to support people. I think there's more power, as we are finding out. There's more power behind the scenes than there is in front of the scenes. I don't think candidates have the power. I think it's the people who are behind that candidate that have the power.
Are puppets. I mean, you're a puppet of your party.
Yeah.
Because if your party doesn't agree with you or deem you important, like Lindsey Graham, for example, when the Republicans get tired of him, now that we found out that he got openly outed by these sex workers.
Yeah.
And he must have not stiffed them. But anyway, but from their description, I think he's a power bottom. I think he is. I think
he's a delicate power bottom.
Yeah.
I think he's a polite power bottom.
Yeah, from the I'll tell you what, the articles are very descriptive.
I think he's like
there is no gray area left in the articles.
So what do you think? What do you think the voice of Lindsey Graham is during that act of power bottoming?
Well, they said he pitches up his voice like Minnie Mouse. And I'm a huge Disney fan, so that really crushed me in a lot of different ways. I cannot look at Minnie the same way.
I think this is
some of the other.
I think this is
physical descriptions.
I think it's
I can tell you that sex was the last thing on my mind after reading things about him.
You have to. I mean,
but they're getting paid. I
think it takes a lot for someone. I think it takes a lot for someone to get paid to sleep with someone like Lindsey Graham.
Well, I think that's the whole point.
Well, I mean,
I makes a substantial income.
Yeah, and so I think you literally,
I mean, and they sign these NDAs too, like. Who makes a sex worker sign an NDA? There must be some high-end sex workers in Washington D.C. I'm assuming there is.
There are. Yeah. When I lived there, the 2 years I was single, back in 98, 99 or whatever.
Are we about to get a confession?
No, really. There was this big dance bar called. It was huge. It's now where the baseball stadium is.
Okay.
But that whole section was dance bars and like topless clubs and things like that. It was kind of like, it was the Navy Yards, and it was kind of seedy because they had different law. It was federal land. It wasn't city land.
Oh wow.
So you could actually dance naked, nude, whatever. It was a huge dance club, and it was packed on Saturday nights, and it was predominantly gay. They had a huge disco ball. Well, I met this person there, and turns out the person was an escort.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily know what that was, and a friend of mine was explaining it to him. I was like, what on earth? And I was very disappointed because I wasn't about to pay, because I didn't make a lot of money at the time. And so we became really good friends afterwards or whatever. But I remember, like, a year later, I went back to DC and I picked up one of the rags, and there's a big old picture of him on the back. You know, I'm like, oh, please.
Well, and sex work is very common in the trans female population, and I don't, you know, I personally know, and not just escorting, but also like camming and you know, different aspects of sex work. I mean, like and sexualized work, and it is a profession. It is something that whether you're an adult star, whether you're, you know, an actual one-on-one sex worker or more. I mean, if you really want to pay. But I think it's something that in our society should be legalized and streamlined.
Oh yeah, I mean, as long as they pay taxes. I mean, you know, that's the libertarian part of me.
Well, I mean, also too. I mean, the fact is that I mean, are all relationships kind of sex work anyway? I mean, like when you talk about a marriage, you're talking about a marriage where you have a contract and you have financial duties, and then if you have kids, there's a contract for that too. Yeah. And the kids are the result of sex. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of
Diet Coke,
large Diet Coke, and a basket of fries, please. But I think one of the crazy things about...
Thank you for choosing McDonald's. How may I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Can I get a McDouble, a spicy McChicken, a six-piece McNugget, a small fry?
A what fry?
A small fry. And then a basket of fries. A large Diet Coke, and a large unsweet iced tea.
Okay. Any sauce for that 6-piece?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No sauce?
No.
Okay, so I have a large Diet Coke, a large unsweetened tea, a basket of fries, a small fry, a hot spicy McChicken, a McDouble, and a 6-piece nugget.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the total will be $11.91 at the first window.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I think one of the ironies of society is that we poo-poo so many things, but you know,
thank you.
One of the crazy things is that we demean certain career choices or certain
thank you
vocations, and we deem them as distasteful or immoral,
because there's no difference between an escort and a person who marries a wealthy guy in Myers Park.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth.
I mean, like, one's being paid.
They're both getting paid.
Yeah, they're both being paid. Thank you. Diet Coke.
You know, when...
Was that the Diet Coke?
Yeah. And they already marked it. That was a little...
Okay.
Squishy squish. Reading is hard.
Yeah. Words are hard. Thank you.
But it's... But I guess one of the hilarious things is...
Thank you. Hand that to you. Thank you. Let's hit the store. Oh, that smells so good.
He gave us 2 large fries, but not a basket of fries.
Oh no.
I guess the medium fries, 2 medium fries are the equivalent to a basket.
Yeah.
Is what they'd said before. So
yeah, I think
that's good.
Yeah.
They still have the small fry in there. So.
Okay. So anywho, there's not going to be a lot for the RNC to do when they come here because the gay bars are closed.
Yeah, except for the ones that decide to serve food so they can stay open.
Oh, I didn't know. Are there any that are open? Or
I think Chase is open.
Yeah, they are, because they got warned about staying open too late. I saw their name in the paper.
Well, yeah, all these bars and these restaurants are wanting to stay open late.
But Sidelines isn't open.
No, it's not.
Which I haven't really been keeping up to date, but Argonne's not open.
I don't think Argonne, it never opened, did it?
No, because they're bars.
What about 316?
I don't think they...
No, Chasers didn't serve food before.
Yeah, so they must be...
They were serving food now, so they could open. Or at least what I understood, that Chasers and Scorpios opened. But I don't know if they shut back down or if they got in trouble. I don't know, so I don't want to speculate. You know,
exactly,
I don't want to... assume anything, but I'd heard at one time that they started serving food and opened up.
Yeah, that was the only way they could.
But I'm like, and see, actually, the single barrel room inside the Whiskey Warehouse, it opens tonight.
Oh, okay.
But Whiskey Warehouses, you can always order food in there. Like they have a full blown kitchen.
So are the gentlemen's clubs open in Charlotte?
I think so.
Know. Yeah,
I think so. So, but a lot of gentlemen's clubs always serve food.
Yeah, right? They actually have good food.
I remember way back in the day.
They had buffets, and they can't have a buffet anymore, but they had like good steaks. And,
I remember back in Texas they would advertise.
That was the thing to do.
Was you could get like a $5 filet
exactly.
mignon.
Exactly.
Ooh, like that's a little sketchy, and of course that was back when I was still an omnivore, and I ate meat at that time. And
great wings, and they have all kinds of stuff.
Some of those places had pretty darn good food, like better food than I expected. Of course, it wasn't 5-star dining or anything like that.
It was good,
but it was not bad either. Like it didn't suck.
Well, it gave people an excuse to go.
Oh yeah,
it was almost like
lunch.
Especially remember we used to say, I'm going to Hooters because of the wings.
Oh yeah, which basically is a gentleman's club.
Why you always at Hooters? Because of the wings and the cold beer. Which I really just went for the wings and the cold beer. So it was
for you, I mean, but what was Hooters, Twin Peaks, all those genre restaurants that were basically gentlemen's clubs without the stripping, without the taking off the clothes.
They never had really good Hooters, though. That was the problem.
I don't know. There's been a few.
In San Antonio, they had good ones.
Oh, they had some.
The Hooters in San Antonio's were good.
The one on the Riverwalk, and the one
that one. Yeah, that one was good. Yeah, that was
a very upscale Hooters.
Yes,
like it was very nice.
Yeah.
In fact, I watched every Black Friday they have a river parade. Basically a Thanksgiving Day parade or Thanksgiving holiday parade, and where they have a little float.
Black Friday means the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
And but you have to get tickets.
Oh,
you either have to sit at one of the riverside establishments and make a reservation there, or you have to buy a ticket in one of the many bleachers that they set up along the river.
Oh, wow.
They're on the Riverwalk, the Paseo de Rio. And you have to get it in advance. Like now you probably could with COVID, but back in the day, that was a very hard ticket to get. And so we made reservations, my boyfriend and I, we made reservations at Hooters. And we went and watched the Riverside Parade from Hooters, which was hilarious. The two men, because at that time I was still living as male, we're sitting there dining Riverside at a Hooters. Like there was not an irony not lost on me. But.
Well, I just think it's so funny. We have this joke. When you start using back in the day, you're getting old.
Oh yeah, no, I know I'm old.
Back in the day.
It really was. I mean, you're talking 20 years ago.
It's amazing.
I mean, like late 90s, early 2000s.
Back in the day.
And I want to say this was like 98 or 99.
And we're gonna start saying because we know life is. Yeah. We know life has changed already, and it's ridiculous to think that we're going to be back to where we were before COVID-19, at least for a couple of years. And then by that time, life has changed, so we'll have a new kind of way of thinking, just like after 9/11.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, New York, the state of New York, and the city of New York estimated that 1/3 of the small businesses are gone forever.
Yeah, and they probably should be,
because they closed. And
but Jenny, what do you think about that? Because we talked about that before, and you mentioned, and I completely agree. You said that it's not your right to have a business; it is a privilege to have a business.
It's a privilege to own a business, and it's a privilege to go into a business.
So
commerce is a privilege, not a right.
So this thinking that everyone who opens a business has a right to make a profit, has a right to this.
That's a gamble.
Yeah, it's a gamble, because what makes you. Because that gives the impression that individuals have less rights than businesses, which is really what they're saying.
Well, yeah, because many times, especially amongst conservative Americans,
they believe
that they confuse rights over privileges.
Yes,
it's a privilege to own a business, and you have to go by the rules. And if the rules are during a pandemic
because the rules are equal to everyone.
That Health and Human Services, one of the reasons we have a government. Is to define what the interactions are between a society. Otherwise, if you don't have rules and laws, then people do what they want. And exactly. As we've seen with the Not the Boss of Me movement, the reopen idiots, the COVID idiots, and all their super spreader events, is that if we leave it up to those very noisy few that are confusing civil liberties with this, which is not lost on me, they go very, very dormant and very, very silent when true civil liberties are being violated, or they're violating civil liberties when it comes to the LGBT community.
Yes.
It's amazing those same people never show up to defend people like me.
Exactly.
Because the reason they're not is because they're the ones that are passing the laws that are persecuting trans people. So I'm a little tired of them talking about civil liberties and all that, when they're actually the ones that are the persecutors of people.
And they're quoting Martin Luther King.
That's disgusting. So you want to eat? You're comparing your struggle trying to dine at Chili's when you want to without a mask on to what Martin Luther King and people of color went through in the South and all over this country, but specifically the Southern United States. Those journeys don't really kind of add up. You didn't come to this country in shackles.
And that's what we have to say. And I was going to say that about Kamala, is that men of color are going to have to stand up, and hopefully some white ally men as well, like I think someone like Dr. B would stand up as well. But specifically, men of color are going to have to stand up to other men when they start trying to treat Kamala with sexist things and racial things.
Yes, more than I think racial.
And we are going to have to start standing up to them as we would our moms, our daughters, our and we can't remain silent because it's going to come. Well, and I've seen it even just.
That's going to be incumbent upon the Biden campaign insulating them too. I think Biden's going to have to do his part. His campaign's going to have to do their part on the literature they put out, the propaganda they put out. And quite frankly, she's the choice. He's already made his choice. So we own that as a Democratic Party. That's who our ticket is, top and bottom, and that's our ticket to win. And they deemed her through multiple interviews, not just with her, but with other female candidates.
But we're really going to have to step up. We're really going to have to step it up and make sure that we defend her.
But we have to also defend Biden too. So
yes, that's right.
We have to look at our ticket and say, we need progress, not perfection. If we think we're going to get a Shangri-La candidate, every one of the candidates was human. That ran. There's no savior on that ticket, including Bernie. Bernie was not perfect either. Bernie has some problematic issues with him too.
His hair,
So, well, a little bit more now. but so there was nobody that was perfect. You could look at Warren and talk about her Pocahontas comment that she made years ago. We could go to all these different candidates and say, well, they were an establishment candidate.
Warren just looked like she I don't know, but Warren
she looked a little bit like a nutty professor.
Yes, she always looked like someone was shining a bright light in her eyes.
But she was a law professor at Harvard, no less. So I mean, like, that was one of the reasons I loved her, was not only is she well educated,
I think she makes a great senator. Yeah.
I think she was a hell of a presidential candidate. She probably was too smart.
Yeah, I think she was too smart for what we.
And I think Bernie's too wordy.
Yeah,
I think
he's too wordy.
Bernie's not that he's too smart, because I don't think he's as smart as Elizabeth Warren is.
No.
But I think what Bernie is, Bernie's like, he's not the nutty professor. Yeah. He's just, he reminds me of the Doc from Back to the Future. Eureka! Like I mean, like, he gets up there with those crazy eyes and goes, Eureka! I figured out how to cure our medical problems. And I think his personality, and I do like Bernie. I like the fact that he's got so much piss and vinegar in him.
So we're obviously going over a little bit, because we went out a little bit further than we thought we would. We went to South End, and of course we had to stop at our Mickey D's. So we're probably going to go over about 10 minutes before we stop. So bear with us. So in the last 10 minutes, I really want to talk about the scandal that's going on, or I don't know if you want to talk about it, with MechPack.
Oh.
That's kind of a sad situation. I think MechPack.
I think
we need MechPack. We need a group like MechPack. Maybe not the current group of people that are running it, but we do need MechPack.
Well, obviously, for people who don't know what that is, you know, I'll briefly explain what it is.
Sure.
It's basically an LGBT alliance lobbying for LGBT worthy candidates, you know, candidates that are running that will uphold and defend the LGBT community, because there's so many people, Democrat and Republican, that have turned on the LGBT community. Obviously, because of the bathroom bill in North Carolina. North Carolina does have a dubious history with the LGBT community, and you know, in the recent scandal, if you want to call it that, you know, to me, I've read over the stuff that I've seen, I've seen on the surface. I've read the article. It seems like there's a lot of shade being thrown from the publication that I'm not going to even dignify the publication by naming them, but I think the article was shady. The article was shady.
It was kind of tough.
Even because, you know, they're trying to make a person in our community that works for Pride look bad. I personally know the man. I know his boyfriend as well. They're good people. And you know, the interactions I've had with Charlotte Pride, and I can't talk to MechPack, because MechPack wasn't really that much of a thing. By the time I moved here, it was already going downhill. And all I can say is my interactions with Matt have been nothing but awesome. You know, I met him in January of 2019, and my interactions with Charlotte Pride have been very, very positive. And I know from volunteering, sitting on the board, being involved with nonprofits, specifically in our community since 2016, there is a lot of political jockeying, a lot of backstabbing in our community. And when one, specifically white gay men, get it in for you, there it is like, you're in their crosshairs.
It is,
and
like,
you got two choices. You actually end up with two, because I've experienced this back in Texas, where I had two white gay men target me. We all sat on the same board, and because I performed so well, they targeted me for elimination, trying to get me off the board. And I've gone through what Matt is going through, with a lot of wild, insinuating charges. All of them ended up being false. In fact, that same board, for that Pride board, asked me to come back on as a special consultant the next year, after those two white gay men took it over and flamed out bad, to the point where they were so incompetent that the event was not going to happen because they screwed up finances so bad, which was really, really crazy. And I was not surprised, because they sucked the year before when I was running circles around them and running 5 of the 7 communities we had. basically picking up their slack.
Well,
so
I
think there's a lot of jealousy because Matt does such a good job for Charlotte Pride.
But there's also a lot of, the reality is when you're someone like that person who is very vocal and who
Matt is very vocal,
you're gonna get people who are waiting for the opportunity to bring you back down. And what I would say to Matt is hold your head up high, as long as you're doing what you think is right for your family and for you can't speak for all the community, but for the community you're trying to speak to, hold your head high and keep doing what you're doing, because he's speaking for people who don't have a voice to speak. Stick in there, Matt.
In the end, you gotta look at shade, whether it is
you gotta grow thick skin,
legit shade, or not. Whether the charges and the shade that they threw towards Matt in that hatchet job of an article are right or not.
It was tough.
And insinuating that he was doing the same thing for Charlotte Pride when there was no evidence, and I've never seen it.
In which they've planted that seed now that people are going to be, well, I don't know, is that possible? Charlotte Pride, this.
And planting that seed to try to get him fired.
Yeah.
Because he is staff for Charlotte Pride. He's not a board member of Charlotte Pride. He's staff. So he does the media and comms and does a really, really good job. So, like the logo, he designed the new logo that's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of amazing things for the events. Specifically, the last 2 years, the biggest event that I've been involved with was the film festival, which I am a co-coordinator with me and Jamie, and and I've loved it. That is
as we've learned since we've been here, and I think as people who move here learn, there is this Charlotte way. When you upset the Charlotte,
I think it's Charlotte. I think it's Southern. I think
it's a Southern
culture. Is really
but what's great is
even amongst gay people.
But what's great is there's now more of us than there are of them. And I think that scares them.
I think most people, and I'm talking about inside the community, see what that publication was doing, and they see through it.
Yeah.
And so when you see shade thrown at somebody, and I compare and contrast my association with you, and I had many people in feminist circles that are very upset that you and I do a show together. They're upset with me because I do a show with you, that I will associate with you. And my word to them is that Christian has been a consistent good friend to me when other people have not. Like, they want to tell me how to live my life and who I'm to associate with. I'm going, unless you feed me, sleep with me, or fund me, I don't need to hear anything from you.
But thank you for your advice.
But yeah, I didn't come out. I've had people come up to me and say that you shouldn't associate with Christian. Literally have told me that, and I'm like, I don't remember consenting to you being the chooser of my friends and my associates and what shows I do.
But that is the bless your heart Southern way.
And
they believe it's a plantation mentality.
It's time for you to step off.
They believe that it is their right to let other people know this is what I think you should be doing. And it's really kind of bewildering because we didn't really have that way in Texas. It was more libertarian. It was more don't get in people's business or whatever. But here there's this belief.
Texas has that too.
But overall it wasn't that bad. I mean, here it's ingrained with people.
You've been gone a long time.
Well, no, that's right. But
I can tell you.
But this is what I was going to say, Jenny. But in Texas, there were people. I don't know how to say this, but there were people who maybe are from old money in Texas who believe that. People who had new money didn't really say that until they had old money. There are people here with no money that believe that they have the right to tell you what to do.
But don't you think all those people are the same people, that they're small people that don't have game.
Oh, of course, that's true.
And are really, you've already risen above them in life.
Yeah.
And that's why they're trying to pull you down.
Yeah.
Because they want you back down on their level.
Yeah.
And I really see that as inside the LGBT community and outside the LGBT community. Yeah. Anytime that I have somebody that I feel is trying to throw shade at one of my associates.
Instead of trying to promote someone, instead of trying to say, you know what, y'all, Matt, whoever,
or
good at what you're doing. I may not agree with what you're doing, but good at what you're doing, because when you move forward, we all move forward.
Exactly.
And that's really the way you should be.
You know, to be completely transparent, I had an incident with Charlotte Pride in the winter, and we worked it out. We sat down like adults, and this is the way you should handle it. We sat down with adults, and it was with a staff member that she made a mistake. She owned up to the mistake. We figured out how to prevent the mistake from happening in the future. And our relationship and our friendship and our working relationship has never been stronger.
That's great.
So
that's what
we sat down with all of us in the room and said, this is what bothers me. This is what bothers me for the future going forward. But I said up front, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to run out and get on my social media and flame Charlotte Pride. And I see so many advocates and so many activists that will jump away from an organization like Charlotte Pride and then trash them. And I'm going, but you were part of it.
And,
like,
and some of those people did that to MechPack.
Yeah, they did that. And so bringing it full circle, I see this with MechPack. Some people jumped off the ship. Some people got thrown off the ship.
And now
some people are trying to sail the ship now, or they're trying to control it. And I see that publication. I think they're one of the ones that are trying to control MechPack and guide their policies or tell them who they can associate with. Kind of like the deal with me and you. And I think what it comes down to is they want to have more say than everybody else. So you better attack that strongest rival. And I think Matt provides a very strong, powerful voice for the LGBT community based on his accomplishments. Because he's risen up in the world since he came to Charlotte Pride. He came on as a board member, then he came on as a part-time employee, and then he went full-time in January 2019. And he has shown his worth to Charlotte Pride and has helped that event grow and grow and grow and manage itself during COVID.
And I hated to see that they were trying to insinuate that Charlotte Pride needed to be. I mean, they
had to tear him down. They're trying to tear him down
because that is one of the true gems of Charlotte and with the LGBT community, and it's only going to make the event and everything stronger. But I wish they had approached it differently. But then we wouldn't be able to throw shade at them. So But
I think that is that tinfoil hat award goes to.
So because I'm
gonna go ahead and say it. Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's Q Notes that's attacking.
Okay.
And it was a very shady.
We're gonna get an article about us now.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey, you've made it in Charlotte and the LGBT community if you get a hatchet job article about you on the Q Notes. So they've never targeted me before.
They've never targeted me before, and I ran for Congress.
But 2 queers in a truck's probably going to make the news.
Exactly.
But the bottom line is, I think sometimes you have to sit down like adults, whether it is the RNC convention in Charlotte, where cooler heads always need to prevail. And it's not because I was excited the RNC was here, but honestly, it did Charlotte no favors for it to blow up. It definitely did not help the RNC.
It didn't help
the RNC. Most of all, the group that got hurt the worst on this
are the delegates.
By their own doing is the delegates.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being chosen?
I just want to go and vote.
No, can you? I mean, can you imagine being a delegate and then going? We're going to Charlotte. Oh, we're going to Jacksonville. Oh, now we're going back to Charlotte. Oh, what are we doing? Because it's not cheap to travel to those things.
They change all that stuff. That
is crazy. That would be crazy.
And what a pain in the ass. And so, at the end of the day, is be an adult. Sit down with people, even people that you don't agree with or you don't like.
If I was a delegate, I'd vote against Trump just for putting me through all that.
Because the stubbornness and the silliness and the shade.
That was crazy.
His team tried to blow up Governor Cooper, which was completely
stupid.
Like Governor Cooper's going, we're not saying we're not going to host this.
Exactly.
We just wanted these rules in place. We want you to scale it down. At the end of the day,
you're not the boss of me.
Governor Cooper was
You're
right.
not the boss.
That's the whole thing. So the moral of the story is, even Trump's buddy, the governor of Florida, DeSantis or whatever his name is. punted it ball back to Charlotte.
Exactly.
Like
That's
and the city of Jacksonville punted it back to Charlotte. They go, you know what? We really don't want it either. Like, we kind of got this put on us.
I mean,
it's kind of hilarious.
I mean, if you really think about it, it went from a convention.
Very childish.
It went from a convention to just like a local sales conference.
Yeah, yeah, 500 people is nothing. I mean,
it's like a sales conference.
Dude, truthfully, it's not that. It's not a threat to Charlotte.
No, it's like the Bank of America Southeastern Division sales conference is coming in for the weekend. It is
500 people is nothing.
Yeah,
and I'm glad at the end of the day that it got worked out, and that Charlotte's gonna fulfill their obligation. The RNC can still have their convention because they still. They have a fundamental right to have their convention.
Yeah.
They just needed to do it responsibly. They always talk, conservatives, I've always heard, we got to have personal responsibility.
And they didn't accept,
And they didn't.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, y'all need to learn a lesson from this, is that y'all need to have personal responsibility and corporate responsibility and making sure that wherever you had your convention, whether it was Jacksonville, Vegas, Charlotte, wherever, in the middle of a pandemic, that you're not going to try to have a 50,000 person 3-day full-blown hoopla. Is that the reality is nobody can do that. The libertarians didn't do it. The Democrats aren't good. Nobody did it. And so, you know, we've all got to make COVID make sense as much as we can. We can't go back to what we were doing because our world's not that way anymore. That world's gone.
Yeah.
And the sooner we accept it is the sooner that we get on with it and we pivot and
that's right.
We change our thinking.
Well, this time next week, we will actually the Biden acceptance speech will be on the Thursday night, right? Is it Wednesday or Thursday night?
Is the convention for the Democrats next week?
Yeah.
I thought it was the week after.
No, it's no, next week is Democrats, the week after is Republicans.
So it's this weekend.
Yes, so they're on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know, Thursday.
They're during the week?
Yeah, it's during the week.
Ah.
Yeah. So anyway, my point is, by this time next week, I don't know if we'll actually have the Biden official acceptance speech that we can talk about,
that'd be good to know.
Exactly. Because Monday night they have speakers, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and I think Biden and Kamala are going to be talking on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about.
And they're doing their photo op today, so they're
so we'll be talking
Delaware.
We'll be talking about that next week, and then the week after is the Republicans, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to. Well, I think it's going to be eventless, so it's going to be.
Well, there's not much they can do. I mean, like I think
one of them is going to get busted at Harris Teeter somehow.
God, it'd be funny.
Yeah.
I want to, and probably somebody that's not actually involved with the convention.
Yeah, so it'd be someone's like.
I do delineate the people that are losing their stuff in Trader Joe's and Target and all that. They're not actually delegate level.
Exactly. Yeah.
People, you know, your delegates are fairly normal people that you know are business owners and attorneys and people like that. Yeah, on both parties. Yeah. Both parties. That are fairly reasonable people. And I'm going to say the RNC delegates did not want this storm to happen. This was definitely a Trump campaign issue. And I think it's going to be pretty chill. But I think some of the crackheads that are going to come to Charlotte from the Carolinas,
they're
coming here
from Gaston County,
that aren't invited guests, that are just going to show up with their rebel flags and their
Lincoln County
1984 Chevrolet pickups that are covered in mostly a shade of rust.
Yeah, that's right.
And did they have what's this? I think it's the redneck, not the boss of me starter kit. You got to have a "Don't Tread on Me" flag.
Yes,
you got to have a Confederate flag,
and then
an American flag,
and then a Trump flag.
And then
they'll have their Trump flags.
They'll have their little red hats on.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know, that weekend. We'll see those hangers on. You know, that drive into town on a day trip.
That's right. Yeah.
They probably won't even spend a night here. They'll come in, eat at Denny's, and drive around town, you know, showing their muscle. Oh, I'm so tough. I'm so tough.
They won't be able to go to the Chick-fil-A drive-thrus because their flags will be too high.
They'll take them out.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, y'all, thank you so. It was great to have y'all this week. I hope we talked about things that you didn't care about.
But then that's a normal episode. If we were talking about stuff that was important, it would be 2 queers and a cock.
So don't forget tonight, 7 o'clock.
on this channel.
HIV and me. It'll be an important conversation about HIV today. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's going to involve local advocates and a very, very well-informed panel, and with a very important dialogue that HIV still exists. It's still a worldwide pandemic, and what the state of it is. Obviously we're going to ask some really cool questions, and tune in. It'll be. I know I'm going to learn something because I'm not an expert on HIV or HIV medicine, nor am I a doctor. I just play one on TV, and so tune in tonight at 7 o'clock and see us live.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Mask up.